Paradise Gardens. Learn more right after this.
I'm transferring to the University of West Georgia.
Columbia University.
Kennesaw State.
UGA. Loyola University in Chicago.
Grambling State.
Shorter University.
I'm going to Greensboro College, and we all got our start at Georgia Highlands.
No matter where your educational journey takes you, you can get your start at Georgia Highlands College. Georgia Highlands College. Enroll, engage, excel.
Welcome to Community Watch. Greg,
Doc,
how you doing?
I'm great, brother, and yourself?
I'm okay. We're going to talk about your, well, not your original home county, but one of your locations over your life.
Where I grew up, and something that's dear to you, something that that's important to you as well.
Yeah. Chattooga County, and Paradise Garden, which is a creation of the late great Howard Finster. Folk artist, and it's a little difficult to describe if you have not experienced it.
And I haven't, and I'm not ashamed to say
yeah,
it
but
because I know
you understand what it is and know what it is.
Well, I'm telling you, I'm gonna go because I know you're a board member, and so I know I need to support not only the garden but you. So I'm gonna go.
Well, I appreciate that, but I think you need to see it just because everybody needs to see it.
Well, you know, when you think about Chattooga County, I mean, recently, we had a lot of the Confederate flag issues in Chattooga County, and Chattooga County, despite some of the problems, it's still, I think, a great place to grow up in. It's a great, it's a very family, loving community,
and it's a beautiful county.
Yeah. So it needs something like Paradise Gardens for people to come and partake in that.
We have, well, there's a membership event coming up soon for Paradise Garden, but our guest today can tell us a little more about what it is and why it's significant. But it's like the number one tourist attraction in Chattooga County. I mean,
not being funny, but is there another one?
Well, I would think yes, given the mountains and the but
I do know Mr. Finster was internationally known and his art is internationally collected. So it clearly is something. Yeah. I think like in a lot of places, people who live there don't necessarily appreciate what they have, but people outside of that area. Yeah. Because I heard about Paradise Garden all my life growing up, but I just never have been.
Yeah. Well, we'll take care of that. And we will talk with our guests after this about Paradise Garden and the event coming up. And you really need to stay with us for this show. So don't go away. We'll be right back.
Hi. May I please have an application? Thank you.
Skip the drama. Get your diploma.
Okay.
Take that first step towards a better future. Find free adult education classes at finishyourdiploma.org.
Welcome back to Community Watch, and we're very happy to have with us today Mary Hardin Thornton and Jordan Poole. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Thank you. Jordan, now you are the executive director of the
Paradise Garden Foundation, which is our operating arm of Howard Finster's Paradise Garden.
So you are sort of the man when it comes to Paradise Garden. And Mary Hardin Thornton, you are the director of Keep Rome Floyd Beautiful, and you're also the neighborhood sustainability Is that a directorship?
Director, yes. And other duties as assigned. Yes.
So there's, I mean, those titles don't even begin to describe what you do with the city.
And beyond.
And beyond.
I always think about recycling.
There's a lot of, he thinks of it as the recycling.
Well,
yeah.
we need to do a show about recycling.
Yes, we do.
But
and Howard was the original recycler.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Really? Well, I guess, yes, of course. Yeah, he turned recycling into art.
He sure did.
Yeah.
Nothing went to waste.
No, Sharpie pens, markers, paint things, all of those had a second use and second purpose. Again, as a preacher, he used that as an example, redemption.
Well, maybe that is a good lead-in to a question for those few out there who may not know anything about Paradise Garden. What exactly is it?
It's probably one of the most famous cultural landscapes in America, actually. Howard Finster was known as one of the most prolific, if not the most prolific artist of the last century. And the epicenter of all of it was in Chattooga County, this place called Paradise Garden. And a lot of people may remember REM, the band. Well, they filmed their very first music video in Paradise Garden. Mm-hmm. Everybody went there. Everybody from Keith Haring to Purvis Young, you name it. It was this place that was drawing folks in the 1980s and 1990s. And it really is a place that you just have to see to believe. You just have to go there.
Now, folk art is art from an untrained artist. I mean, is that essentially, there's more to it than that, but
it's a little, yeah. He was known as a visionary artist. He had visions. Mm-hmm. Sometimes the art genre that he's in is called outsider artist, which is really not something that professionals like to use because it comes from the art of Brou from France, which is the art of the insane. Really not a good term to be used in this case. But folk art, for the most part, is a traditional class, like carving a duck, duck carving. That's something you pass down and do. But for Howard, he was truly a visionary artist. And he kind of goes into what is this genre that we don't like to use, but is still used, and that's called outsider artist.
Now, when you say visions, like he literally had visions.
Yes.
And so that I'm assuming he then worked to create that vision.
One day he was repairing a bicycle in 1976, and he had a little dot of paint on his finger. He said it turned into a human face, and it spoke to him. And of course, naturally, if your finger talks to you, you probably are listening. And it said, "Paint sacred art." He said, "Well, I'm not an artist. I can't paint." And then all of a sudden, apparently, to the story, I'm not, from his story, he said, "Paint sacred art," louder and louder. And then it said, "How do you know? How do you know? How do you know?" He said it got louder and louder and louder. And that was his little story, though, is that he was giving up everything to do sacred art, paint his sermons in artwork. Just as you see here on angels and other things, he put all of his messages into his artwork. Mm-hmm. And how do you know unless you do it? And that was the thing about it, was he was a self-taught artist who really gave a lot of other artists the ability to say, hey, I can do it too. If Howard Finster can take bicycle parts, pottery, mirror, and make it into something that gets into Rolling Stone magazine, Johnny Carson show, I can do it too. And they proved him right.
Mm-hmm. Is there an accurate count of how many works he created?
46,991.
And does that count all of the sculptures and the...
Not a bit.
No, so it's just the painting?
Just the paintings.
Just the things he numbered.
Yeah, he started in 76. In that moment that he had this vision, he got a $1 bill out. And he thought he'd paint George Washington. So he went up behind his little shed there, and he sat down and did 3 little George Washingtons, each one a little bit better than the next. And then he went on and he was going to try to do 5,000 paintings. Well, he beat that record a little bit. But, he definitely was a hard worker. He was known not to sleep very much.
He really did paint through the night.
Yes.
Yeah, he did.
Wow.
But for Paradise Garden, in addition to being the place where Finster did a lot of his work, it itself is almost a living sculpture. I mean, it's there are creations. I don't even call it a sculpture, but there are creations throughout the property. There are mosaics in the pathways. Once you walk into Paradise Garden, it is as if you are walking into a
another
piece of
world.
art.
Right.
And it's remarkable how extensive it is. I mean, you don't realize it when you drive up and just kind of look at the property, but once you start walking through it and see how much has gone into it at every location throughout the property, it's really breathtaking.
When we started this project in 2012, 46 months ago, we didn't know how much we had, and we started uncovering more artworks and more things underneath mud and silt. And this is not just the two-dimensional pieces of the garden, but it was 3/4 of the garden we didn't even know really existed, and it was so intense and so magical, because it's a whimsy of everything that's involved in the creation of it. Another reason to go and see it, because it is so amazing, and especially at night. We have it all lit up. We have a wonderful lighting scheme in place, and it's an experience, a kinetic, moving thing. So it's like having your diamond underneath light. It catches the light, and it's magical.
How did he fund all of this? I mean, I know you say he was self-taught, he kind of recycled stuff, but was his art his main source of income?
It was.
Well, and he was also a bicycle repairman and television repairman.
And those were his income streams that he would, put into his art. But a lot of the artwork that sold $35 each and all those things, it added up. And plus he had the proceeds from record sales, from, for instance, the Talking Heads album cover, Little Creatures, 1986 album cover of the year. Those things, he put them right back into that garden. And it really created a unique aspect. But there's a wonderful little video clip we have, and he says, "You're walking on my money." And we all memorized it in our visitor center because we've heard it so many times. But again, he's giving a tour to somebody. Says, "If you want to know where my money is, you're walking on it." And he did. He put everything right back into that garden, which is in Chattooga County.
And do y'all have any idea what his most expensive piece, I guess, went for?
Recently at auction for $53,000. It was a large piece of an assemblage of different components. He called it the Traveling Show, but it sold at $53,000. Probably one of the most paid for a self-taught artist.
And then there's lots of there are pieces in the High Museum that I don't even know what those would be valued at. And then Coca-Cola has a big bottle.
13 foot high. It was just on display.
So there's a lot of institutions that have his artwork, and lots of private collectors.
So Coke actually had a bottle?
Yes. You can go to the World of Coke.
Right.
Check it out.
That's big time.
The Smithsonian, he has an exhibit that's in London right now. The American Folk Art Museum in New York City. The list goes on and on. He's everywhere.
So his impact really is well beyond Chattooga County.
Yes.
It is.
Let's see.
And there's still, you get some folks from all over the world to visit.
Like
Last week we had someone from Thailand. I'm always blown away where people come from. But I think the biggest thing is where they come from and what they walk away with. You can just see it in their eyes. They're changed. It is that thing. It's like, if this guy can do this here with junk, trash, and make this into art and change the world, it really is something Americana that everybody wants to see.
Well, I know one of the primary goals of our conversation today is to talk about an event that is a possible fundraiser, but having people just visit, it's an inexpensive experience for what you get. It's $5, isn't
For
it?
adults, $3 for seniors, and $2 for students.
And you can get one of those wonderful self-guided tour books to
For
take
only
you through.
$8.
A wonderful keepsake.
Well, we're coming up on a break here shortly. When we come back, we'll talk more about the event coming up and more about Paradise Garden generally. So please stay with us. We'll be back with more after this.
Yeah, this is.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Community Watch. We're having a conversation with Mary Hardin Thornton and Jordan Poole about Paradise Garden in Chattooga County, Pennville.
Pennville proper,
which
yes.
is right outside Somerville. And Howard Finster. And
From where?
Pennville.
What did
Is
you
that
call
right?
it?
It's Penville.
Pennville.
So he knows that.
Yes, yes.
Pennville.
Pennville.
Okay. After Howard died, and when did he die?
In
What year was it?
2001.
2001.
October 22nd.
I know that a lot of pieces of art left Paradise Garden, and Paradise Garden kind of went into a low period.
It did.
And I think we're probably lucky that it exists at all now. But I think some people haven't been back in many years. Think it's diminished in some way, or it's not like it used to be, and that's not really true. I mean, obviously some of the pieces are in the High Museum and in private collections all over the world, but there's still a great deal that's physically there, and fortunately it is in the process of a restoration. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, there's so much there. The built environment we've been working on for this past couple years, but we do have other buildings that are internationally known. It's called the World's Folk Art Church, and it's actually, if you can see it there on you just flipped in and to see this building, but we're working on stabilizing it and also restoring it. And this, one of the things we're working on is actually how to plan it and turn it into a learning center. The first floor of it is completely compromised, so that we're going to really look at how it can be an adaptive rehabilitation of itself and be a place that students from all over, college students, you name it, could possibly go to this lovely center and have a lecture. I mean, it's not saying a lot. You couldn't have artists from New York or Los Angeles come in and actually utilize the most iconic folk art building that could possibly be used and have it as a place that really can help the student understand, different forms of art. But in doing so, we're doing the preliminary fundraising, and that's why it's important for people to get involved and become active and see the place. One of the great things that we're going to be doing on this wonderful night is offering a chance to go up inside this building.
Ooh.
So when you say this wonderful night, we're talking about October 17th. And it is it's a party. We're calling it a party at Paradise.
Party in Paradise. That's right.
And when you get a ticket to that party, you become a member.
You have the opportunity to sign up as a member and be a continued supporter. And also, you can bid on some amazing auction items. We'll actually have catalogs available beforehand that, we have artwork that's been given by some really cool self-taught artists. you name it, from a Tom Glavine jersey that was worn in the World Series to pieces by Missionary Mary, who's another famous self-taught artist. All of these things are going to be available. Plus, we're going to have some amazing music, some food, and get to see the garden lit up at night, a rare opportunity, and also get the opportunity to go up inside the chapel and get to see what really can become something.
Now, do you all sell any of his products or everything now? I mean, I guess you've cataloged most of what he had, what you have, and so now I guess y'all kind of try to preserve it, but is any of his art for sale?
We have some wonderful lithographs and seriographs that are available that are signed by him. And we have everything from $1 to $700 for sale at Paradise Garden. So if you want to buy your significant other a gift that celebrates Sioux County,
for a dollar.
we have a lovely we have a lovely series of seriographs for you.
T-shirts.
Now, Mary Hardin Thornton.
Yes, sir.
You have been working on the event. So what? Tell us a little more about the event itself. I mean, there's like, I was looking at a partial list, and it may be still growing, but it looked like food from I don't know how many people. I mean, it was like you're gonna have to be just tremendously hungry.
Yes, you are. You are. It's so much fun, and again, if you've never been to the garden, you're just so happy to be there. So everyone who's a part of it, who's on the board, is contributing in some way. So we've got lots of good home cooking, I think Wildflower Cafe is donating food. We're going to have, shrimp and grits from Janet Byington, lots of good food, and we're serving it in, what do I call it, the rolling chair ramp. The rolling chair ramp. So it'll be, I mean, there's just lots of ways to experience the garden, so you can experience it while you're eating, while you're bidding on auction items, while you're walking around. So the event's going to be really nice. It's like kind of going home and being with all your favorite friends. And Chattooga County is beautiful, and it's like what you're talking about. It's sort of my adopted other county because it's so friendly, and everybody there is always a lot of fun. Yeah. So it's a relaxed atmosphere, and you get to be in the garden. And it's really, it's a real place of love and good feeling. I mean, you're just happy when you're there. And
it's important too. I mean, yes, people buy tickets and have a great time that evening, and hopefully bid on some items and make contributions that way. But this is I mean, there is no place on earth like Paradise Garden. I mean, there is no, and it costs money to keep it.
And that's it. It's the sustainable income that we do a lot for the community. It brings people in from all around the world, but it's time for people to kind of give back. It's paying the power bill and all those things. But we have such incredible talents at Paradise Garden, and it keeps those things going so that we can continue to do things like Restore the World's Folk Art Church and work to have people like Mary Hardin come here and be involved with it.
And just maintain maintain what you have done so beautifully with already. I mean, it's an investment.
It is.
Now, for a person who's never been, so like when I'm looking at the rolling chair ramp and the inventions of mankind windows boxes, who built this? Well, like, was the property already there and he just somewhat accessorized the property? Was it something prior to him coming?
That's a good description.
No, he had a swamp in the backyard. It gets even better than that. You can't make this stuff up. He drained a swamp, and he took pieces of appliances that people had thrown into the swamp, and he built
things from the
mills. Yes, and anything and everything. It just all became this incredible place. He's got a cool poem. I took the pieces you threw away. What's the rest? What was it? I took the pieces you threw away. I put them together by night and day. I washed by rain and dried by sun. 1,000,000 pieces, all in one.
I mean, I'm just looking at the architecture. I'm just thinking. I mean, it looks like a company or somebody. I didn't know.
And
I mean, it's impressive looking. I mean, just from the photos, but I have.
And that he did it, and that he was so prolific with his art too. He really was an inspired, visionary guy. And a lot of people got to meet him, and they feel this great affinity towards the place. and then people that have heard about him all their life. I mean, it's just, you do just have a very pleasant experience whenever you're there, and you know he cared about what he did and how much he cared about his community, but that it did go and reach out so far. It's pretty.
Now there's a very impressive vehicle that's on the property.
Yes, the Cadillac.
The Cadillac. Tell us a little bit about the Cadillac.
Well, he was taking the bus to Wake Forest, North Carolina, to the University of North Carolina, and Victor Facento, who was the professor of art there, got a Cadillac and donated it to Howard. And you can actually see, if you walk into our visitor center, we have a cool little piece. Howard tells his own story. He talks about how he got this Cadillac, and he says it got him 6 hours faster to Wake Forest than riding Greyhound. But what does Howard do? He paints it up. He puts all these pictures on it. There's George Washington, there's Abraham Lincoln, there's all these different faces on his Cadillac. He memorializes his first flight on Delta. He created one of the first art cars and created a whole movement in art, the art car movement. If Howard could do it, anybody could do it.
Sounds like your kind of guy.
The art car.
Well,
we got to talk about the event. The date.
All right, the event again
is
October 17th.
6 to 9.
6 to 9, and it's a great deal of food, so come hungry.
Yes.
There's a auction,
a silent
auction.
Right.
And the tickets are $35
a person.
A person.
60 a couple.
60 a couple.
And then you can join and become a member there. And then you get from about 6 to 9, you do get to do the tour of the World Folk Art Church.
And there'll be a special.
You're going to have to sign a waiver.
to go into the church.
Yes.
Because it's dangerous.
It is, well, it's adventure. It's like for adventuring kind of sporty.
I have never been inside.
But
you won't be here.
I am, but maybe I can.
You can come on.
Maybe I can.
We won't make you sign a waiver. And you know, so many people are like you. They've grown up there. It's like living in New York City and not going to the Statue of Liberty or something. There's so many people that we want everyone to come. You know, if you've lived there for forever and you've never come, it's it's beautiful to come see.
I can promise you, Doc will make sure I go.
I will.
That's right.
We're coming up on another break here. When we come back, I will let you know how you can get your ticket to go to this amazing event coming up this next couple of weeks, October 17th. So stay with us.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back to Community Watch. We're talking about a big event coming up, Paradise Garden in Pinville, October 17th from 6 to 9, $35 a person, 60 per couple. You can go to the website, and what is the website address?
ParadiseGardenFoundation.org.
Paradise.
And if you put it into your search engine, you should be able to pull it up by saying Howard Finster's Paradise Garden. ParadiseGardenFoundation.org. You can order tickets there. There's a Facebook page as well. There is.
So go to the website, go to Facebook, get your tickets, be a part of this experience, and help preserve it at the same time. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you next time on Community Watch.